Welcome back to The Watchman from London. We are here this week bringing you the on-the-ground view of the rise of terrorism right here in the UK. We've had a wave of terror attacks recently inspired by ISIS here in the UK, and it really all began back in March right here where I'm standing right now on Westminster Bridge in the shadow of Big Ben. Now, the horrific terrorist attack here on Westminster Bridge really had all the hallmarks of the ISIS strategy and tactics that we've seen again and again here in the West. Number one, the attacker was a British citizen, a convert to Islam named Khalid Massoud. Now, what he did was he intentionally targeted a soft target, Westminster Bridge. Folks, you can see behind me, this is a heavily trafficked pedestrian site here in London, a legendary site right in the shadow of Big Ben, obviously, a major tourist attraction. And what this terrorist did was he took a car and he rammed it right here into the bridge into a large group of civilians, of pedestrians. He killed 4 people, he wounded dozens more, but he wasn't done there. After he ran people over, mowed them down in the car, he hopped out of the car and he stabbed an unarmed police officer right here on the Westminster Bridge. So this was a very deadly attack. It was the beginning of this recent wave of terror attacks here in the UK, but it was only the beginning. There was much more, unfortunately, to come. Not long after Westminster, we had Manchester, where once again an ISIS-inspired suicide bomber blew himself up outside a pop concert, killing 22 people, including several young children, an 8-year-old girl, but that was not the end of it. Not long after that, here on London Bridge, the iconic London Bridge, 3 Islamic terrorists drove a van, plowed it into this crowded pedestrian area. You can see behind me, folks, how crowded this gets on London Bridge. It was a Saturday night, a nice night, summertime, people out walking, going to restaurants with their friends and families, and here comes this van, plowing into civilians. 8 people were killed. Not only that, not only from the van plowing, the 3 terrorists hopped out of the van right around where I'm standing right now, went down the street to Borough Market with long knives and began stabbing people. Eventually, these 3 terrorists were shot and killed, but again, not before they left a horrific trail of carnage behind them, killing 8 people with this combination. And this is the blueprint, folks, here in the West. These combination attacks, we've seen it again and again now in Western cities, where it starts with the car ramming, it ends up with the stabbing. They ram into civilians, they hop out of the car, and then they start stabbing. Now, right here in London, look, the great thing about it is the Brits are famous for that stiff upper lip. Keep calm and carry on. That's kind of the motto here in London. You see behind me the memorials here on London Bridge, at the entrance of London Bridge, the memorials for the people who were killed in this horrific terror attack. Pray for Great Britain, folks. God has used this country mightily in the past. I believe he can use it mightily once again, but right now, this is a very dark time here in the United Kingdom. Well, coming up after the break, my final thoughts on the London Bridge, Manchester, Westminster Bridge attacks, what's happening here in London, what it all means for this country and for you. It's The Watchman, it's Christians United for Israel from London Bridge. Stay tuned after the break.